Okay, so this week in Pax Day, we got multiple lore posts as well as a 2025 year in review from the devs, including a couple of teased things coming early, hopefully, in the next year. We're going to talk about all of that and a whole lot more. So, hello and welcome back, all of you amazingly professional consumers of Pax Day and Pax Day related content out there. I'm Altari, the professional gamer, and this is another episode of the Pax Friday Review, the show where we talk about all the fun, interesting, new, and exciting information that has come out for Pax Day over the last week. Like I said, we got a couple of lore posts specifically talking about the two new head armor pieces that we got with the Yule event, and then we also got a 2025 year in review from the developers, which makes sense considering that this time next week, we will officially be in 2026. So this, I believe, is the last PAX Friday review of 2025. So hello and welcome to the final one of 2025. But either way, we're going to hop right into it. We're going to start off with the 2025 year in review. I will see you all over on playpaxday.com. But before we go there, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe so you get notified whenever we come out with new Pax Day or Pax Day related content, and share this video with any of your friends who are looking forward to staying up to date with Pax Day. Also, special shout out to all of our channel members. Thank you so much for your financial support. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without you. Now, let's go ahead and head on over to playpaxday.com. I will see you over there. All right, and here we are on playpaxday.com, and we got it. The 2025 developer retrospective on Pax Day. Today, we got it, and it basically is telling us a bunch of things that Mainframe was able to get through over the last year. The first part of it, a lot of just kind of tooting our horn and saying, hey, look, we released the game. Well, for starters, they went from early access to 1.0 all in 2025, which again, I called that last year. I was like, this 2025 is the year of Pax Day, and it was. And we had the summer of Pax Day, and then we had the fall of Pax Day, and hopefully now we're going to have the winter of Pax Day too. But the update, basically what it talks about is what things came with 1.0. Well, for starters, they started their monetization. They also gave us the ability to subscribe, get a premium model. Now we have the ability to buy as many plots as we want, as well as a subscribe up to 8 plots off of a single subscription. You also now have the ability to purchase a plot with Just Grace, which is an earnable currency in game. So you can even, after you make your initial purchase of Pax Day, after you buy that, you can quite literally not have to pay ever again if you wanted to. There's a lot of good reasons for why you would want to buy the premium, including the ability to level up 50% faster, as well as the ability to purchase more plots to make your farming and everything more efficient, or be able to build bigger things. There's a lot of good reasons to upgrade, but you don't need to. You could buy the game and, pay to play. And that's it. Either way, we also got full availability on Steam, the Epic Game Store, the PC Game Pass, as well as the GeForce Now systems, their platforms, and the game is available pretty much anywhere that you could get it on any of these platforms. You should be able to play Pax Day. And then they also moved away from their original launcher for long-term support and a smoother experience. And they also reworked a lot of the system based off of us, the players' feedback that they got from early access going into 1.0 release. Now, with 1.0, we did get a couple of things. We got the player-driven economy, collaborative building, the kind of first tastes of social gameplay and community structures, as well as open-ended exploration and discovery. So these, to me, seem kind of like, well, yes, this is Pax Day. We just described Pax Day in 2025. We had the ability to... 1.0 didn't usher in a new player-driven economy. It just ushered in a player-driven economy that we had before from early access. Collaborative building, we've always been able to collaboratively build and craft. There is no new type of building where it requires players to co-build together on some special plot or anything like that, though that would be really, really cool, Mainframe, if you did something like that. but you can collaborate and build together. You can craft together when you're in clans or when you're in just your own friend group or party or collaborating with someone that is in a different clan nearby. All of those things you would have been able to do. Social gameplay and community structures. So they teased a lot of the feudal system, but then they kind of backtracked, and right now clans are just clans. They are not feudal clans or feudal houses like they teased and talked about a while ago. Instead, we're just clans who can now claim feudal shrines in Lyonesse. And in terms of community structures, we just have clans. That's the only thing that we can really interact with currently. And then open-ended exploration is pretty much just being able to go around the world. Hopefully they start including a lot more in-game lore, and that's something that I'm hoping and really hopeful for. And we're already getting some teasers of, again, more lore that we're going to cover in today's PAX Friday review with regards to the Yule Crown of Winter, as well as the goat mask. But they laid the groundwork for new systems to be coming online in 2026. And that's really where a lot of the excitement is coming. Most nominally, things like the Alliance system, which is going to breathe actual life into the PvP zone, because as it stands right now, it is very, very difficult to just convince people to come and join a clan just for the purposes of PvP, because it's just, there's so many other systems in the game that really restrict players from wanting to do that, from risking it, because they don't want to go join a clan with people that they don't know or they don't trust. Well, guess what? They go and do that. They will have to go and do that if they want to go in PvP. There's really not many other options. If you're in a group that's rolling through PvP, the only great way to kind of guarantee that you're going to get something done is if you're able to roll out in a group of 10 or 15 people. If there's another group of 10 or 15 people, then you can fight that group of 10 or 15 people. If there's another group of 6 people, well, they can try and fight you, but the numbers are against them. And the only blocker right now seems to be the game itself. If alliances are available, if that social structure is available, then players will organize into it. It'll make their lives much easier. If their lives are much easier, then that means they can just focus on enjoying the game, enjoying the PvP, enjoying the conflict, as opposed to having to bounce between 14 different clans in order to just enjoy PvP or play it in general. Next up, in terms of challenges, they did face a couple of challenges that they mentioned, specifically the premium features not being very clear, as well as pacing and mid-game engagement. I can tell you right now, the leveling experience for many, many disciplines are just a grind. It is an incredible grind. It makes sense why they're giving premium players a plus 50% boost to their experience, because this grinding, it takes a lot of time and effort. So there is a lot of value in getting that premium membership. But even with a premium membership, we're talking about hundreds, if not thousands of hours in order to get to 4,000. And that's with multiple players supporting a specific character in leveling that thing up. If it was far more interesting or there was far more variety, then that would be a lot more suited and a lot more beneficial. But as it stands right now, an armor smith is going to go make 2,000 vambraces, and then they're going to throw them on the ground because everyone is leveling using vambraces, and they're not worth anything, and you can't salvage them. So there's zero value. So basically you're going out into the world, you're collecting a bunch of resources, and you're throwing them in a trash can with the idea that you're leveling up, but leveling up can take a really long time. So they understand that that's a challenge, and what they're working on doing is improving that mid-game experience, that leveling up and progression pacing, as well as working on update cadence, which is something that a lot of players in the community have been talking about, with just how frequently the game is being updated, how frequently new content is being added, and new abilities to do things. And we'll actually talk about this coming in that as well. Then they say community first. PAX Day is at its best when the community is alive. Villages bustling, clan projects rising, trading channels humming. Shared adventures unfolding. The world thrives on collective effort, and we are continually inspired by the creativity, collaboration, and generosity players bring to the game. They encourage us to keep building and connecting together, because that's, again, what makes PAX Day the best. When PAX Day 1.0 launched, My one bit of advice to most players, which resonated to a lot, is you got to find your people. If you find your people, you will enjoy this game, period. That's how the game works. Let's remember that as we go and talk about looking into 2026. So there's a couple of things they wanted to tease us with. First and foremost, master crafting, something that we've known about that's coming. They also said crafting XP rebalance, which again ties into being able to level things up appropriately. It takes a lot of effort to level up right now, and some players are just kind of getting to a point where they're like, I don't even care. Like, there's the benefit of me going to the next step doesn't really matter. And, you know, they find other solutions for things. Like a great example would be dungeons are incredibly difficult now. Well, you could level yourself up to level 40 armor smithing and get the best steel armor that you can get in the game so that you can go and run these incredibly difficult temple dungeons where there's 5 times as many enemies as there were before one of the more recent patches. You could go and do that. You could spend a lot of time to go and do that, or you could just go with a whole nother group of people and then split all the loot at the very end of the dungeon. You could do both of those things, and both of those things should be viable, and the game should allow you to do both of those things, and they should be okay to do both of those things. Right now, a lot of players are just opting to go and do more people coming together, having multiple groups, going to the same dungeon, and split all the loot at the very end of the dungeon. Done. That's what a lot of groups are doing. Or they're bringing multiple groups, and it's just all one clan, or it's many clans and doing the same exact thing. Most groups are opting to do that because it takes so dang long to do the crafting and to level up so that you can have one uber leveled, super geared group that goes and runs the dungeon and can clear it relatively efficiently with the same balance. Unless you're going to just completely restrict how many groups can enter a dungeon, which I don't think they will ever plan to do, though I could be wrong. If you're not planning on closing out how many groups can enter a dungeon together, assume that players are going to come together. And don't assume that that's a bad thing. Design the dungeon around the fact that multiple groups of players are coming in. Create things that require the groups to split up and then come back together, and then go and do other things, or have multiple groups of enemies coming in that the groups have to be able to manage themselves and go and basically have a raid. If that's the direction that you want to do it, then allow them to do it and support it. Why? Because community first, because doing things together in Pax Dei is what makes Pax Dei an awesome game. The community is what makes the game awesome. The game is just bringing the community together. So don't hate, and this is mostly me talking to Mainframe, don't hate when you have multiple groups of players all coming into a dungeon to go do stuff together. The Golden City consistently gets about 30 players showing up to a single dungeon run. And we go group up and we go hit the dungeon, and everyone gets their loot, everyone gets everything efficiently, everyone has a fun time. That's not a bad thing. Now, giving people the alternative option of being able to just level themselves up to the point where they can make the best armor so they can have a single group go and do the exact same thing that 2 or 3 groups does, that's what XP balancing needs to do. Now, on the topic of making a community and bringing people together and why that's an important thing, we say it right here, community first. That is the core of Pax Dei. So this one made me have a big question mark. Valleywide markets. Now, I understand that there's a benefit to it kind of increasing accessibility to players. I understand that. I really do. However, what this Valleywide markets, this is the first time that they actually mentioned this. They hadn't really mentioned it previously, and that they're thinking of it. And it's really important for all of you who are watching to go and give them feedback on this in the actual official Discord. They do listen. Valleywide markets. The concept here is that when you're in a heartland, like let's say you're in Retz, purchasing carries, and you want to buy something. The current thing that you would go and do is you would go into the market tab, you would search for the resource that you're looking to buy, you would find it, you'd basically select mark this on my map, and then you have to go and walk to whatever market. That's great. Why is that great? Because players have, over the last 2 months, gone through the incredible effort of organizing themselves and putting together markets so that there are multiple market stalls from multiple different people, multiple different clans, solo players, individuals that have access to these markets. Some of them are just set to public so that everyone can go and list their goods in the same place. It brings community together all in one place. Because if a player is going to go to a market and they are buying one thing, guess what? That probably means they have money in their pockets and they're looking to buy multiple things. So if you go and put a bunch of markets in the same spot that are all offering different things, then when a player goes to that one spot, they're also going to have the opportunity to look at other things and make purchases accordingly. Okay, so then this particular change says Valleywide markets. In other words, you'll be able to go to the Pax Dei with this proposed update. You'll be able to go to the Pax Dei, look at it, open up the market, and purchase anything from the specific home valley at the Pax Dei. You don't have to leave the Pax Dei. You don't have to leave the starter zone in order to buy a single thing anymore. So all of those communities, remember, community first. All of those communities that exist out there that players have spent the last 2 months putting together and organizing, so players have the ability to go out there and look at these builds, look at these amazing things, and collide with each other. If there's multiple players all showing up to the same market, well, guess what? Now they see each other, now they're playing together and they're playing in the same game. In what world does going to a Pax Dei where you can buy anything that's in the home valley, never have to go and visit a single location, never have to go and see where the market actually is located, never have to do anything. You can just go and log off a couple of alts on a couple of different locations where there's markets or where you know there's active economy. Just go log those characters off there and, oh, hey, look, let me go buy that thing. Okay, cool, I bought it. You don't even have to know where you're buying it from anymore. This one kind of disappointed me. And it disappointed a lot of people, actually. And again, it to me seems like we forgot what we said literally one paragraph ahead, that the community is first. So nevertheless, Valleywide markets, I think the problem that is trying to be answered here is more so that players, for starters, markets are really hard to make work in the game right now. There's no understanding of price. There's no way for people to understand what the value of something is. Nobody knows. So you have huge variability. In some regions, you have players who are selling things for 20 times what they're being sold in another location. That information's not being captured. People don't know, hey, this is a good price or this is a bad price. And if they're not making a bunch of Excel spreadsheets and putting in hours and hours and hours of time to track all of this stuff, then they wouldn't know if something's valuable to go and grab or not grab. So then, because they don't have that information, they're not spending the time to go to random Joe Schmo's shack in the middle of nowhere to go and pick up something because they don't know if it's actually worth it. They don't know if there's actual value. And on top of that, if they're going to try and go buy something in bulk, okay, well, if I want to go buy a bunch of iron ore, which by the way, I'm buying a bunch of iron ore right now. If I need to buy 36,000 iron ore, I can only fill up one inventory at a time to go and do that, right? So that problem could be solved with the ability to buy a lot and maybe load it into a cart or load it into something else that that you can buy and it automatically gets deposited into somewhere, or then you can come and pick it up or come and do something. I think there's a lot of other ways that we could explore whatever the particular problem is that Valleywide Markets is going to solve. I don't think that is the right solution. And I know they listen to player feedback, so I'm not explicitly worried about this particular update making it into a live release, but you never know. There might be a system out there that they're planning that this makes perfect, complete, total sense. However, to me, this is probably one of the first times where I've actually looked at something and just been like, that makes absolutely no sense why they would implement that. And again, not to beat a horse with a stick, a dead horse with a stick here, but community first. This is what the game is. It's about community. Don't create a feature that does the opposite of what you're looking to do, which is create community. The best way to create community is to give players a reason to venture out into the community. These market stalls are a great reason for players to go out into the community. Having the ability to go into a dungeon run with multiple groups of players and have it work in a good way, that should be a good thing. It's bringing players together in a social MMO. It's bringing players together. You want features to bring players together. Valleywide Markets will not, theoretically, as it's being presented here, I don't see how that's going to bring communities together. I see very easily how it basically means I don't have to leave my plot as long as I put a market on it, or I don't have to venture out past the Pax Dei. If I don't want to, I can just put all my gold in my inventory, fast travel to every home valley that I want to, go buy whatever I want without ever having to talk to anyone, without ever having to venture out past the Pax Dei. That's not bringing community together. And I think we know that. And I don't see how that wouldn't be apparent here. Either way, we also have clan and character sheet UI, so they are going to be improving a couple of the UI elements with regards to the clan and the character sheet menu, so that ideally, hopefully that means things like CC resist or heal benefit or CC, all of the different parameters that exist on armor now, it doesn't really have a place to show on the character sheet. So hopefully that is going to get implemented with this new UI. And then we're also getting a bunch of new emotes and facial expressions so that our characters don't just look so drab when they're talking to each other in game. They'll actually have more emotes and facial expressions accordingly. And then they're also working on improvements. This is actually one of the biggest bits of feedback that we got when everyone went into Lyonesse for the first time, it seems like a couple weeks ago, where there was so many people in there. There was so much combat going on. And this was really one of the first times that I think Mainframe was able to test their performance in combat at high player levels. And now they're making some improvements to that. So all in all, there's a lot of really cool things that are coming. And I'm definitely looking forward to what is to come in 2026. I think the major things that I'm most excited for predominantly are just the alliances, the ability to collaborate with each other from organizations that are larger than just a clan. Feudal houses, alliance systems, the church, that whole gameplay dynamic. All of these things are coming hopefully in 2026, some of them sooner rather than others, and that's going to be really, really exciting. Let's go ahead and hop over to take a look at the two lore pieces that we got, talking about the Yule Winter Crown as well as the Goat Helm. I will see you over there. All right, and here we are looking at the Yule Crown of Winter. This is a light headpiece. For those of you who are wondering, we got, with the Yule event, 2 new armor pieces that are seasonal only event items. Basically, they're both headpieces, a light headpiece, the Yule Crown of Winter, and then the medium piece, which is the Goat Helm. And for both of these, they are blue tier 1, which basically means as a very new player who has not leveled up anything in light armor or medium armor, you would be able to wear these right off the bat, and they would effectively count as a wrought iron or a tier 3 equivalent for their armor class. So really, really good. Both of them give spirit for their actual spell on the head slot. And we will have certainly a whole winter lore breakdown at some point in the near future where we talk about all of the lore corresponding to the winter time. But just know in this particular one, what it covers is Arduina, which we've already known about in game. Arduina is mentioned, I think, in some of the founders' tapestries, specifically the Golden Hind, which is kind of like her compatriot. And Arduina is a fae who is friendly with Mayrothia, and she walks many different paths. So the specific Yule crown of winter, what that is supposed to represent is the Golden Hind, which you can actually see back here, the Golden Hind. These are the tapestries, and this is the Great Hunt, which is described here. And basically, Mayrothia, who's one of the Redeemers, goes and asks Arduina, her fae friend, to go on this hunt to find new tracks so that all of the humans who are out during the long night can find their way home, basically. And after all of that happened and the new trails were made by Arduina, the Golden Hind came back and had a bunch of berries stuck in its antlers. And that's why there's berries stuck in the crown of winter. So that's basically the summary of this particular story. I'll leave the rest for our next lore video where we're going to talk about all of this. But again, Christmas time, the Yule season, all of that is right now. I hope everyone had a happy Christmas time. If you celebrate it, happy holidays otherwise. And it's really nice that we get some of these. But now let's go take a quick look at the second lore post, which is talking about the goat helm. I'll see you over there. Okay, the last, but certainly not the least, we have the consecration of the goat mask, the Le Sacre du Masque Chevrier. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but basically this is the story of why goat masks exist in Pax Dei lore, and you can see a bunch of pictures here of them already. Effectively, the way that the story goes is the goat is in Pax Dei considered kind of a spirit guide animal. Mayrothia had a special relationship with the goats, and they helped the spirits find their way. They were kind of the guides for them. So traditionally what happens in Gallia is the way that they celebrate the Yule season is a person will effectively, during this long night, they'd put on the goat mask, and then they would go and do a performance of some sort, a recital, a song, a dance. Maybe they stay silent. It could be anything. And it's basically kind of like a catharsis for all of the people who are participating. And it lets them kind of get things off their chest and breathe out their sorrow for any of their lost loved ones or anything like that from the previous year. At the very end, the mask is kind of waved around outside in the cold to basically show the ancient goat's path and lead spirits from the world of frost to the moonlit road beyond the veil. And that is effectively why these masks exist. So another cool little lore tidbit. I'm glad that we got kind of context for why both of these things exist. Most games, when you get a seasonal exclusive item, you get the seasonal exclusive item and it's just like a random thing, like a Grinch helmet or something like that, where it's or a Santa hat. There's no reason in the lore of the game for why those things exist. They're kind of just these meta outside of the game lore things that people run around with. I really appreciate how Mainframe and Pax Dei in general doesn't go that approach. And even with these simple masks that they included in the game, I wouldn't be surprised if next week we get one talking about Mayrothia's Flame, the lanterns that we're able to make as well, which is kind of a seasonal exclusive craftable. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got lore for that too, because the way that Pax Dei is built, everything has a purpose, everything has a reason, and I really, really appreciate that. But either way, that's all that we have for this week. I know we talked a lot about the year in review, and Mainframe, if you're listening to this, I promise I'm not being hard. I think it's tough love. I think when you have people, especially people who I know a lot went on the official Discord and really dug in on the market changes and why that's probably not the best idea. I know that's what I talked about here as well. And I think there's two things. One, the fact that people are passionate about it means people are passionate about your game, and people are really, really excited about the potential. And when someone gets passionate about something, it's because they care. And in particular, I think the second thing is that it also means that everyone understands the game that you're building in some way. They understand that community is a really important part, and that they're people, the people that they found in the game, the people that they play all the time with. Some of them, the way that they met those people were by having to go to places and go and do things. So I think it's really actually reassuring that so many people, one, are passionate about this particular change because it means people still care. And two, they're actually really in tune with the pillars of your game, and they're just holding you accountable to the thing that you say is important as well. So maybe it's a little bit of tough love, and that's a good thing. It's good. It's good that people care about your game and the direction that it's going. And I'm confident, one, people making these comments, the reason why they're even talking about it in the official Discord is because they know you listen and that you'll make changes accordingly. And that's why I'm not worried about it. I want you to keep trying to do things. 2025, you tried a lot of new things. This is me talking to Mainframe, the person Mainframe. You tried a lot of things in 2025. Some of them worked. Some of them didn't work. We're still here. We're still playing the game, and we're still enjoying it. And that's what we're here for. 2025 was the year of Pax Dei. 2026 is going to be another year for Pax Dei. I'm very excited for what's to come. Hopefully it's coming sooner rather than later. Hopefully we can get that update cadence going a little bit faster. But either way, I'm excited for what's to come. I hope all of you are too. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe so you can get notified whenever we come out with new Pax Dei related content. Share with any of your friends who are looking to stay up to date with Pax Dei. Thank you to all of our channel members for financially supporting the channel. Can't do this without you. And until 2026, I'm Altari the Professional Gamer. See you in a year.